Mr. Chairman, and welcome, Mr. Secretary. I want to start with a compliment on the President's budget. I noted that there are cuts and consolidations on the discretionary side that are identified of nearly $30 billion in FY17, and so I want to thank you for that positive move. I hope we can get together and work on that. I want to, however, talk initially about kind of the big picture, and we've talked about a lot of specifics on this budget. But the fact of the matter is that the President's budget, the budget that you all are presenting, incorporates $4.1 trillion in spending in next fiscal year, the first budget by a president over $4 trillion, proposes $3.4 trillion in new taxes on the American people, including that $10 a barrel tax on oil, which is paid by the American people. That's not paid by those companies. It's paid by the American people. One of the most regressive taxes that this administration has proposed. Your budget adds $9.3 trillion to the national debt over a 10-year period of time, and it never, ever, ever balances. Budget never balances. That increase in debt means that we pay more interest on that debt. In fact, in 2022, the interest on the debt in your budget, the President's budget, will exceed the amount that we're spending to protect the American people, the amount that we're spending on defense. And the interest rate in 2026 will be over $900 billion a year. $900 billion a year. Certainly not a sustainable path, I don't believe. You said earlier that, quote, progress is not inevitable, it's the result of choices. And so I want to share with you a slide here and revisit an issue that's been talked about, and folks are passing this out. This is the growth projections from Congressional Budget Office, average growth over a 10-year period of time over the last 4 years. In January of 2012, the projection was that it would be 3% a year, then 2.9% a year, and then 2.5% a year, and then 2.3% a year, and then in this projected from CBO, 2.1% a year. Mr. Secretary, that doesn't appear to be a movement in the right direction, and it appears to be the result of some choices that the federal government is making. So I would ask you, why do you believe the projections have dropped over 30% in the past 4 years?
Well, Congressman, I think, as I was indicating before, if you look at all of the economic indicators, obviously the creation of 14 million new jobs and the reduction in the unemployment rate.
Why is the projection for growth gone down 30%?
There is no question right now that there are international headwinds that are slowing U.S. growth. We are doing well in an environment, a global environment, that's very challenging.
Let me ask you.
I think that has to be taken into account.
You're absolutely right. Shouldn't also the taxes that we apply to businesses and individuals be taken into account, and the regulatory oppression that we have? What's our corporate tax rate right now?
Our statutory rate is 39.5%.
39.5%, and you're familiar with the OECD, the list of industrialized countries. You're familiar with the industrialized countries.
Look, that's why we're all so much saying that we support business tax reform. Our statutory tax rate and our average tax rate have nothing to do with each other.
And you propose to take the corporate tax rate to what?
We've proposed taking it to 28%.
And Canada's rate is?
I'd have to look
15.
to get the exact.
And Germany's rate is 15, and Ireland's rate is 12.5, and Switzerland's rate is 8.5,
yeah.
and the United Kingdom's rate is 20%.
I think if the United States statutory tax rate was 28%, it would be enormously competitive.
Let me talk about inversions, because we've heard them called tax cheats. Are these companies cheating? Are they cheating the tax code?
Look, I have said it's wrong, and we have to change the law. Is it illegal? No, we have to change the law. Congress has to change the law.
It's important that people appreciate it's not illegal.
It doesn't make it right.
You're right. And when you've got so many companies doing this, at some point we've got to look in the mirror as a country.
Yeah, look,
say, what are we doing that's incentivizing them to move? Because they didn't move 20 years ago. They didn't move 40 years ago. In fact, they wanted to start their businesses in the United States because they knew this was the place of opportunity and the place where things could thrive and grow. And something has happened now for these companies to say to themselves when they sit in the room try to figure out just how to make a go of it, how to create jobs and grow businesses. Something's happened for them to say, we think it's better for us to be at those lower tax rates.
So shouldn't we consider... Our tax code is broken. And Congress has to fix it. That's why I have, for 3 years, come before this committee saying, let's work together.
And
to
let
fix
me,
it.
and we thank you for that, but nothing has been done, and I want to associate myself with the remarks earlier that mentioned the pass-through entities, the small businesses, have a tax rate above 40%. So we, as a government, are punishing job creators and the American people.
Well, if you are interested in working on fixing business tax,
Look forward to it.
business tax code so we can lower the statutory rate and be competitive in the world, that's what we're advocating. So
Time has expired. Thank you. Mr. Thompson, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, thank you very much for being here. I want